a lesson on flour. We're going to have some flour power here. You can't just use, as you tell me, whatever flour you want or feel like.
No.
No.
Bad.
Bad.
You're bad.
So
okay.
Let's go through the options. There's so many options. I didn't know there was this many options.
I know, and if you use, if a recipe calls for all-purpose, I'm using the unbleached, but if it calls for all-purpose and you happen to use cake and pastry,
right.
Bad.
I did know that.
Okay. The reason being is that there's gluten in all of these flours, which is the protein. So when you stir something up, the protein makes kind of long strings, and then when you put the leavener, the bubbles catch it, and then it expands. And if you don't have enough gluten, that you're not going to get enough bubbles and you're going to have something flat.
Got it.
So there's a lot of gluten in regular flour.
Yeah.
Cake and pastry is much finer and it doesn't have the gluten, so it's for delicate things. Cake and pastry, that should be your first tip.
Yeah, use it for cake and pastries.
That's
How about
right.
that?
Not bread, not muffins.
Okay.
No, bad. Okay, whole wheat flour is actually all-purpose flour with bran put back in.
Okay.
And so you're not getting a whole grain still, you're just getting some fiber. So the way that you can avoid that, out west, now we're kind of goofy here in Ontario, I don't know why, but out west you can get stone milled whole wheat flour pretty much in any grocery store out there.
Really?
Not so much out here, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe we're just goofy, but anyway,
no, you guys
what
are
I
good
do,
that way out west.
Yeah, I'm a hippie,
find.
man.
There's more of that hippie vibe, that West Coast thing going on.
Let's get into it, okay? So
we need more of that.
We do, but how you can make your own is by adding wheat germ. So that's the missing element. Is wheat germ. So for every cup of whole wheat flour, I kind of monkey around and put a tablespoon of wheat germ.
Okay.
Now, but you have to kind of play with that because it's the added fat you're putting in, but you're adding all that nutrients back into it. You're getting the vitamin E. It's so important. Like if I think I've done this before. Do you want to be my whole grain and I'll do you? Okay, you do
I'll
the
be
whole
the whole grain.
Okay, so this is your bran.
Yes.
Okay, that's the fiber part.
Okay.
And when they refine you, they cut that off. So now you're gone.
And that's bad.
That's bad. And then the area in between was called the endosperm.
Yeah.
And that's just where
what
all
did you call my face?
The end. No, your face. Oh my goodness.
I ruined your lesson. I'm sorry.
No, your head is the germ. Okay, that's the determination. The stuff around you was the end. Let's just move on. Okay, so.
Yeah, so what's that?
All right, this is spelt flour. Spelt is another kind of a grain that we grow here in Canada.
Gluten-free?
No, it's a kind of a wheat, but it's the whole thing. So if you see whole, it means it's all there.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is, this is self-rising flour. So if you're a fan of Jamie Oliver or Nigella Lawson, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's right, Nigella Lawson.
Anyway, she uses self-rising flour, and that's got the baking powder and the salt in it.
Oh.
Okay, so you can't use, if a recipe calls for self-rising, and you just can't throw in all-purpose because it'll be a pancake, right?
Yeah.
So just be very wary of that. And then there's some that are healthier flours, and this one has got it's got flaxseed ground into it.
Ooh, that sounds good for you.
And it is very good for you. So
does
that's
it come
another
out more
thing.
dense though?
Yeah, it does. Totally more dense. Okay,
All right.
that was a good question. Okay, then over here we have the world of leavening agents.
Yes.
And leaveners, as I said, makes things levitate. Well, not levitate, but rise. And they float around your house. Anyway.
I want some of those.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
fun.
that'd be funny. Cheap stuff. Anyway, so baking powder and baking soda are very different.
Okay.
And so if a recipe calls for baking soda and you put baking powder in it, it's going to taste soapy.
It's
because
wrong.
baking soda is basically used when you have an acidic ingredient like yogurt or honey or something. So you're going to neutralize it. But they both rise up. And then yeast, really important to get the right one. Some yeasts are for baking. Some are for quick. So there's I think, is that the traditional
That one is traditional.
Okay, and then
this
that's
one
the
is
quick rise. And then the other one that's just like my new favorite is pizza.
Oh, pizza leavener.
Yeah, and you don't actually let it rise. It's I don't know how they did it. I should look at the science, but anyway, it's magic.
Oh, okay.
And but you know what? You really have to know what you're doing. If you put too hot of water in, you kill that living thing, and then you don't have any levitation.
I don't know, levitation.
You know what? This whole thing just threw me. Anyway, you don't have any levitation.
Start from the beginning again, please. Now, okay, so what you need to do then, the bottom line is follow the instructions. Don't just substitute.
No.
Is there anything you can just substitute? Like sometimes we say if they ask for unbleached all-purpose, sometimes we say do half this, half that, half whole wheat. Can you do that?
Well, you know, you can, but you're not going to get the same results. So you become a recipe developer, okay? So the world of flour is unique and respect it. Read the recipe. You're doing science when you're baking.
Yes, you
measure,
are.
measure, measure.
Okay, so
don't muck up.
If you were bad at chemistry, just forget it. No, you can still do it. You can still learn.
You
Okay,
can
come
learn.
on in, guest experts. Let's all say bye. Thank
We're all
you so
saying
much
bye?
today. I love the home economist contingency.
it's a club.
I learned a bit today. I'm probably going to forget it by next week. I'm sorry. That's just the way my
okay.
brain works. Thank you so much for the design and the gardening advice.